What's up, Southern Champion Garage peeps? We took a few days, a few weeks, I guess, off. Well, not really. I went to the car show last Saturday. Burn up. Thought we was gonna have to go to the hospital and get some IVs. Uh, yeah, I heard something. Thought somebody has crashed out there, but there's some more. Anyway, the square body's doing good. We juiced the AC up, got it going. Probably need to tweak that a little bit. We're getting like 58 degrees out the vent. So we need to probably put a little bit more Freon in it. Kind of was having trouble with our brand new Harbor Freight manifold gaskets or manifold gauges. This was making me think right here. This is something we're dealing with this Summit. This had no reviews, none at all. This was Summit's AC relocation kit. So it put this Sandin 508A, I think it is, for the R134 up top. But our belt, after we set it the other day, I can see right here, if you come around here, even though we had it on the pulley, it's jumped one over again. If you see that right there. See how cockeyed the belt is? We lined that up and double checked it and everything was good. But we kept having squeaking problems with this pulley right here. And they sent a new one out and it kind of acted like it wanted to do it again. But so far so good, it's not making any noises. But I see our belt's jumped over and realigned itself somehow. I'm not quite sure how that happened, but anyway, we'll fix that. But what we're doing today, we've had the problem with this truck for a long time with the Turbo 350. It's got a heavy duty shift kit in it, and I don't know if that's part of the reason it does, but when you go in gear, sometimes it'll bang in gear real hard, and I think that has to do with that, but it'll bang in gear real hard in reverse. So we've been dealing with that, and I have flushed the transmission I don't know how many times. So we've changed filters and whatnot. And then after all the torque converter fiascos, we've had it down quite a bit. So everything's looked okay. We did find a lot of metal in after the front pump incident, but it shifts fine, it drives fine. And I hooked the kickdown cable up, and even before that, when we done the LS swap, and I think this was happening with the old motor because we thought it was kind of sluggish. But when you come up to a stop sign or a red light, it don't do it when you first get in it, but after it gets a little warm, you know, the temp comes up on it a little bit, stop and go a few times. It's almost like it gets hung in second gear versus first gear. It's not dropping down. So I did some research on that, and I think the valve body could be a possible issue in the, under the pan there, but I don't really know what I'm doing with the transmission side of things, so I'm kind of learning that as I go. But like I say, we've flushed it, we've cleaned it. I didn't see anything wrong in there. I mean, a sticky valve body could be what we're dealing with, but we're going to start with the easiest thing first, because that transmission, I'm just guessing it's got to be, I'm sure in this truck, at least 20 years, 25 years, and has not ever had a modulator put in. So this is something you can kind of do just to test it and see. Normally they get hung in first gear and they won't shift out of first gear. So if you're thinking something's wrong with your transmission, this little guy, actually, I say this little guy, this plays a part. When you take this out, there's a rod that goes in the transmission, and that thing has got a spring normally behind it. A lot of people take it out through the years just because of the simple fact, once it gets kind of dirty in there, it'll hang in first gear. But the rod's about yay long, and it's got a couple little orifices in it. But 9 times out of 10, if you're hung in first, I would check this stuff first, because before you just say, oh, well, my transmission's gone, This is turbo 350 and a 400 it works on. So this we're gonna get under here and find exactly where it's at. I know when we put the one in the truck, the 63 is a turbo 400. It had a new one in it. Reason I knew that is because it was super shiny and clean, and normally they're dirty, just from oil coming out of the engine and other places it coats it, makes dirt stick to it, so it tends to look kind of crappy. But um, it's got an adjustable setting here that comes from the factory. It's supposed to be a standard. If you turn it, I think, to the left, it actually slows the shifts down. You turn it to the right, speeds it up. I think the instructions is in the other truck, so we'll get that and go over it when we get done here. But we just want to kind of take it out. I'm gonna put a new one in. Some of them are larger, some of them are smaller, but you look based on the year model and make of your truck. So like I punched in a 83. This one come from O'Reilly's. It was cheaper, and some of them like advanced are like 35 bucks. Same thing. Don't know why. I guess a different manufacturer. Napa's different prices. And on the older ones, it's getting kind of hard to find them. So uh, it's got an O-ring here, so you need to make sure if you buy one, you get the O-ring. You don't want to miss that. And the adjuster is usually a screw-in type, so you want to make sure that's there, because I've seen a bunch of people missing that when they buy them. But we're just going to swap it out and see. I don't really know if this is going to help it. It's sporadic. So, and we checked it here the other day after the AC was on. Just kind of took it for a drive just to see, and when we could feel it, we got you to drop it down. Actually, like while we were going from a takeoff, it kind of felt sluggish. So he went a manual drop down to first, and you could actually feel it. The RPM shot up, which means that it downshifted. You know, we were like 900 RPM, 1000 RPM when we done that, and it shot up to around, I don't know, 13, 1400. But you could feel it in the truck, you know, that it called another gear. So we know for sure. We've done that multiple times. And I even tried it when it was taking off right and tried to bring it down, and it didn't change RPMs, nor did it feel any different. It felt like it was strong and pulling good. And we've dealt with this a long time because of the torque converter issue, because this thing's got a 273 rear end. We need to swap gears. We know that. So before y'all beat us up on comments, this stuff is expensive. I mean, to do a swap and, you know, to do like to the extent of what we're doing here, it gets into some serious money. And then when we deal with paint issues and we try to get the AC back up and running, and I mean, all this stuff takes a lot of money. And then when you got another vehicle, it takes even more money. So, but biggest thing we're dealing with the gear situation, we can't find anybody local anymore that wants to put gears in. So we're trying to get like a 410, 411 set up. I think it'd be pretty good and give us a strong torque ratio. And of course, we'd have to change the torque converter out again. But you really want a 4080 setup, which would be perfect in this truck. So before we go down that rabbit hole of swapping gears and all this good stuff, we kind of wanted to get the transmission squared away first and put that money into that, because I know we're going to have to go back up with stall, because we went down to like a 2000, maybe a 2100, and the power band in this motor with this cam is around a 3000. So we've tried the 3000, it wouldn't pull itself out of the ditch. But all in all, with everything going on in the stall, this problem was going on, and we didn't really know what was happening. We could feel it a little bit, but it was kind of like, well, we thought it was stall converter related. But now that we got the lower stall, got a better pull, if you manually put it in first, it's good. I mean, it's got a decent amount of torque. It's not going to be torque monster or anything with the 273 in it, but it definitely won't spin the wheels over on the asphalt. But I mean, we can roll the wheels over on dirt, grass, whatever, if we get into it, stab it. But just trying to see if this little guy could solve that problem, and it may or may not, and we may have to trace down. I think the only other thing it could be would be the valve body and the transmission. But like I say, if that's something wrong with the transmission, we're gonna drive this thing like it is until we get a new one, a 480, and that would be what we need, because we want to try to adapt the transfer case and everything, keep it original looking, but yet have the 4L80 in it. And I don't think it's a big issue. There's a ton of parts, ton of adapters. So that's kind of where we're at. Just give y'all a rundown. If y'all having any issues like that with your swap, it may, I mean, like I say, I don't know. I'm no transmission guy. I'm not a mechanic by any means, but we can troubleshoot and figure things out most of the time. The transmissions are a little bit, they're a little bit of a pain, because there's so many clutches, or so much that could be, stuck in that. I don't know. It's not as simple as the engine to me. Tear the engine down, it's kind of obvious what's wrong. But you tear a transmission down, that's a whole nother animal for me. I know they say they're super easy and cheap to rebuild, but before we waste money on this, we're going to go the 80 route, because this thing would be perfect if we could get an 80 in it, put the 3000 stall back in it, swap those gears out, and I mean, this dude would be perfect. Like I say, it runs fine. It does fine on the highway. It's just a takeoff. We're trying to get a little bit more torque. We're not trying to drag race or anything, but you want a little bit more torque. I mean, it would make a big difference, I think, and have the overdrive. It'd just be way better. But we're happy with it right now. But I'm gonna get down and see if we can locate this dude, because it's under the bottom of the truck. On the back of the transmission, supposed to be. And we've had it out so many times, there's a good chance that we have possibly damaged the vacuum line. I don't really know. There's just tons of things that we've been in and out trying to change things. There it is right there. This is your guy, if you can show him right here. And it come with this other hose, and it's an elbow type hose. And I think you're supposed to actually have it on, but we don't. And we got a little bit of oil still leaking. When we stuck this thing together, we did it like it was supposed to be done, with the back, the rear main, all this we had to take. And I think on one of the episodes, y'all check it out, but we took a guy's word when we bought it, and like an idiot, I didn't put a rear main in this thing, because I was like, oh well, they always are okay and never go out. We stuck it all back together on the initial fire up when we first done the swap, and it was pouring engine oil out. So, well, needless to say, we had to take it all down and found out there was no rear main seal at all. He just stuck the gasket housing but up in there and didn't put the seal in it. So we dropped it down and fixed that. But I don't know, kind of thinking, because the gasket or the seal plate, the outer skirts of the housing was there. When I done the oil pan gasket swap, thinking back now, I was initially not trying to take both the loose at the same time, because you have to have an alignment tool. And I believe what happened, being he had took that off at some point and jacked it up, and I didn't know about it. And then, we're trying to shortchange and do things. The cheap stuff like that is something you don't skimp on. We didn't skimp on anything else but that, and I wish we had done it different. But just take the extra step, if I can give y'all any advice. I think we have an alignment issue, because we still got engine oil that drips here on these bolts. We have been through everything and regasket, resealed, put RTV on it. It's made it a lot better, but we had a couple bolts in the oil pan that was actually dripping. But anyway, we had a big leak on this pan, on this Turbo 350. Like I say, this thing was old as, I guess, well, since I've been a baby. My dad had this truck, and that transmission's been in here, so we could never get that dude to seal up right, so we replaced it with a new aftermarket pan, and it's got a drain plug and everything on it, which is super nice. So it actually solved the transmission leak problem, but yeah, we're still dealing with the tiny oil leak, but it's not near as bad. But anyway, let's get after it. I get long-winded trying to tell y'all about the history of the 1983 Chevrolet. And I want to say we replaced this line when we done this swap, if memory serves me right. And it's got a retainer up here. And if you don't put this back in, I don't know if you can see that, but you see how the bolt on the top of this, it's got a little like a little arm, metal arm with a fork. It fits over top of the back of this modulator. It has to be, the orientation has to be this way, pointing towards the engine where the curve is. If not, it'll let this thing pop out. So you want to make sure when you put it back in, you stick it back in like this to keep the pressure against the little, there's a little bevel right here. You see, it goes and rides right up against that and keeps pressure against it, pushed into the transmission. So let me grab some tools and we'll get this pulled out, and I'll show you the bar or whatever they call it inside of that. And we're just gonna do an inspection on it and see what it looks like. But of course, we fight for light even though it's daylight. So y'all bear with me. Let me grab a tool.
This is the part number for that regulator too, or modulator, if anybody was wondering.
We got gnats, y'all. Your metric system 13 is gonna get you close enough. There's a 13 millimeter. And like I say, this problem didn't just start, so we know that it's nothing related to the torque converter that we just put in. Yeah, watch your eyes. So this is the way it went, and this is the fork I was telling you about. So it pushes as you're screwing it in, it's forcing pressure on that modulator to keep it in the transmission. So just make sure when you go back in, it goes in that way. If you've turned it around this way, you see how it's gonna, your bolt will give out if it was going that way first, and there's nothing really holding pressure. So you'll know, it'd be obvious pretty quick on which way it went. Oh, yeah, I wasn't anticipating. That's
lovely.
All the transmission fluid coming out. Honestly, I don't know how much transmission fluid comes out, but let me see if I got something. I may have to just replace it. I don't know. That looks like a pile coming out there, buddy.
Mm-hmm. Should have held that bucket while you put the new one in, while it was filling up.
Well, I was trying not to, I was going to pull that other out to see what it looked like, but I guess I won't. Because that's coming out, like, coming out. I guess we'll just put this one back in. You reckon?
I guess so. The lady came down, guys. We did it. Slid her in before it got us too much.
Well, I know I told y'all we were going to pull it out to look at that rod, and it goes up in the valve body of the transmission, and the reason we didn't is because I kind of look at a longer shaft, kind of, but they say they look different. But anyway, they got a double gasket set up for some reason. I don't know who did that. I mean, the mechanic that used to do the work on this truck, he was OG. Like back in the day, you know, stuff was a little different. I kind of just made things work. Super shade tree mechanic. I don't even know if you're certified, but he always knew his stuff. So, we got HydroGuard in the transmission, which is a John Deere fluid to help with the shift. On the thing on the torque converter, you can go with a low viscosity or high viscosity, and depending on which way you go, it'll help with shift points. It'll tighten up the torque converter. So I'm trying not to, I was going to pull that out, let y'all see it, but it's Sunday and we can't get our hands on any, and I don't have any extra. So I don't want to lose the entire thing of HydroGuard that I got in there, because then we're going to have to put regular transmission fluid back in it if we decide to drive it. We may or may not go somewhere this afternoon, so I don't know. But anywho, we're going to tighten that back up a little bit. You don't want to over tighten that because those ears are fragile. But anyway, if you got the pan off and drain the fluid, and if you was to look right up through here and this valve body's all this cluster, it looks like honeycomb. Once you take the modulator out, you'll see, if you can get up in there with a pick and a flashlight, you can actually fish that out. And it sits deep, like it's a big rod. Looks like a number 2 pencil goes in there. And they got little small orifices in them. Sometimes they get clogged up. If your truck's stuck in first or car stuck in first, that would be 99.9% of the time your problem. Especially if it was running right and then all of a sudden, you know, you have an issue with it, which would be a good time to change your filter and transmission fluid. So that would be your go-to for that. But being that we don't have that issue, we're having an issue of when we're stopping, it's not downshifting like it's supposed to. So this controls your shifts on that. Makes a smoother shift. So anyway, we not going to lose all that fluid. That stuff's like $30 a gallon. And we literally, I think, done this maybe a couple months ago when we did the swap. And it held like almost 2 gallons of that. You have to put in like a quart of transmission fluid just to give it some color so you can actually see. But what we'll do, I just went up here and washed this real good. That was a clean catch, I'm going to call it. There wasn't really any dirt or anything got in it. But what we'll do, we'll take the screens over there for the paint. And we'll run through a screen and pour it up and see if we can't put that back in the transmission. Because I'm sure we're probably going to be low now. But you can look at the fluid. This is kind of after we've, I don't have any metal in it much. Maybe a little bit. It's a little darker though than.
Looks like a little burnt or something.
Yeah, I just don't know this thing. Maybe.
Tursky 350 might be giving up.
Yeah, we've had metal in it. And I said it was because of the converter that went out. Actually, it did not go completely out, but we started hearing whining and growling, and so we tried to stop and took it out at that point. Went with this one and you know, flushed everything out as much as we could. It's kind of hard to do that without just tearing the transmission apart, but that does look a little dark because when you put the HydroGuard in, it's clear. And when I say clear, you can see through it. It's like...
It has no color to it.
No, you can't even see it on a dipstick. But we put I think it was a quart of transmission fluid in it just to give it a red color. But yeah, that's That's way darker.
Yeah.
So that's the Talladega trip. And we may be having a heating issue too. So that's something else that's been on my mind. You'll probably need an external cooler because you can't see your transmission temps. And with these big wheels and then with it doing that
Not
crap,
going into first.
yeah, that's kind of
Lord
making
knows
things worse.
how long it's been like that.
So when you stop and go, you're heating this up if it's hung in second. Because our RPMs was going to, actually, I think before the torque converter. No, we had to go get our buddy to retune it, Dakota. Appreciate you, man. But he retuned it for the new torque converter. But we were having some issues of the RPMs were getting up way high. It wasn't pulling, but we didn't drive a whole lot while that was going on. So some of that could be contributed to that, but I'm going to say probably ain't going to be too much longer. We're going to need to swap that out again.
Yep.
We're trying to baby the transmission. So there's a bunch of them out there for sale, but just would like a little bit of time to recoup pocketbook wise, you know.
It's a pretty good little expense right there. I think it's like $3,500 because you got to have your new drive shaft, and then they said that conversion for the 408 to the MP208 transfer case was a good little change for that adapter.
Yeah, it is, and you know, then we got the we got to put the well, that wiring harness in this one is original. They still got the
we can hook that back up.
The hookup, but I think I read, and I don't really know for sure. I'll have to get back into it. I've read so much on this stuff. You know, if that harness was originally on a 4L60, the computer's tuned one way. If it was a 80, right now I think Dakota's got it tuned for a manual. Pretty sure he does a manual transmission to get by with the old school transmission. Of course, that's the issue. Another issue we're having, you know, we had to tune it a certain way and put the Dakota digital pass through for the cable on the transmission or the speedo to keep the truck from stalling. So that's a typical problem with this old conversion like this. You're gonna, you know, your RPMs goes up, you let out, the computer thinks there's no more need to.
It's like idle.
Yeah, that idle, and then you got lug on the transmission, so it kills the truck. Yep. So every time we stopped, it was that way. So we put the Dakota digital pass through. We got one on the old truck too, but being we don't have a manual speedo, we didn't do the pass through for the cable. We just did the readout. So it's just you screw it in the transmission where the speedo goes, and it tells the computer we're doing like 5 or 6 miles an hour. And so we can't see our speed on that truck like we want because we're running the Turbo 400. And there's ways around that. Of course, we're running phone. The tablet issue I ran into, some reason that cheap tablet off Amazon is not reading GPS speed. And I've tried to do that. But long story, we're going computer in that. I'm going to put a Raspberry Pi. So eventually that'll be solved anyway, but it's not causing any issues. That truck, it'll die every now and then if you like come up on the carport. If you get into it, and because you don't have enough, there's not enough distance to build speed for the computer to read. So when you get into it with RPMs and you try to go up the ramp and let out of it, it wants to drop back off. So, and the lug of the transmission is killing it. So it Dakota tuned it pretty good for us. I hadn't had any trouble on the highway with it, and no red lights or anything like that, because you're coming down from, you know, it's reading. I can hook the laptop and we can see it. Actually, it's reading on the OBD link that it's running like 7 miles an hour. But you know, running around town, you got to be a little careful with it in parking lots because it can kick. You know, I've had it shut off on me turning around in parking lots, car shows, but you just have to be careful going in the gas, out of the gas, because it rips up RPMs and it comes down really fast. But anyway, didn't want to get off subject with that, but just I I know there's a lot of guys asking about the swaps and stuff. So just kind of give you some back information on what we went through. Videos are out there when we done all this stuff, and kind of what we ran into and what's fixed the problem for us. But we're going to do the standalone harness like what's in the 63 on this truck, but we're going to try to wait till it gets like winter maybe, because it's running good right now. There's a few car shows coming up. Cruising the Coast is next thing probably coming up. We missed Scraping the Coast. Don't really care about the squatter truck scene. So of course, there was other trucks than squatter trucks, but we're just going to save up, I think, and hit that. I think it's October, the week of the 10th, maybe, your birthday week. And it starts, along the coast, and it goes as far, I think, as you want to go over there around Biloxi, Mississippi. I don't know. That'll be our first time. Got some buddies that's going. May meet up Ocean Springs, I believe, is where they said they recommended to go. Hadn't got a room or anything, so I don't know how that's going to pan out. But it's not that far over there for us. It's maybe an hour and a half to get into the car scene where they're going to be starting it. So, we could technically stay somewhere on this side, closer to home. But we're going to go over, I think, and check it out if everything keeps going like this. The old truck's running good. This one's running good. So, knock on wood, we'll try to go to that show. That's probably going to wind us up for the year. We're going to do some coverage for that. And then we'll try to tear this. The harness that I got for that one was it come off eBay. And I think it was like a painless harness, which is like a $300-$400 harness. Paid $75 for it. Had the original painless stickers, the painless manual, everything was in the box. I don't know how they got a hold of it, but I had no problems whatsoever hooking it up. Everything's dead on where it says it goes. And it cleaned that engine bay up. So that's what we're trying to do with this one, just start cleaning the engine bay up. But it has its own transmission plug too, just like the original. We got it pinned under the bottom of the truck there out of the way, because we probably, if we do any kind of road trips with that one, we're going to have to do something 4080 with that one. And we'll have the same power, I think, torque, but we'll just have that overdrive, because that dude there is screaming if we get on the highway with it. I mean, it's really like a 55, 60 mile an hour truck. That's where it's happy. But the transmission fluid looks good. That's another thing. You're running high RPMs, you're going to check that fluid. And that fluid doesn't look near like this fluid on the dipstick.
Yeah, this has been like this 3 or 4 times.
Yeah, we've gone through this merry-go-round quite a bit. So that's why I say I think we're having a heating issue.
If it'll get us by to winter,
yeah, I mean, we could
do something with it.
We really, even putting the 4080 in it, we want to put an external cooler on it, just because of the tires. I mean, y'all may see this and y'all like, oh, that's not that big, but this is a 35 15 50 22, and I don't know if y'all have stood by one or put it up compared to your regular truck. This tire would eat that truck up. I mean, the Dodge, any truck. I mean, it just swallows.
It's a heavy joker too.
It's huge. I mean, like, you put your hand on it. I mean, it still don't do it justice, but the thing is massive. I don't know. They weigh, I can't even remember now the specs. One of the videos has it, but anyway, they're heavy. It's just this is a big truck. It's square. It catches it's like a school bus going down the road with wind shear on the front of it. The wind just hits the front, it has nowhere to go. So it's a lot of lug on that transmission. So we need to get, probably for the time being, need to get a external cooler put on it. And if we don't do anything else, maybe go to the radiator. I was thinking go to radiator, let it cool, and come out of the radiator, go to the external cooler, or vice versa. But the more cooling, the better, and it'll get rid of that right there. So we're gonna check. We'll have to crank it up. We're going to check the trans fluid and make sure that we're good. If not, we'll
take a look in the shop too, see if we got any more hydro.
Yeah.
Just to look again.
I don't think. In my little crap shit I got. Y'all can't go in there. It's a disaster. It's been a lot going on, okay? We ain't had
That's
time.
before we had the big shop.
This one, like I say, during the winter, we're going to try to wall. I got all the stuff over here to wall this thing in other than a tin. We're going to try to frame up a door. Next summer, hopefully, we're going to have some AC in here. I'm going to get this thing spray foamed and get it where we can come in here and enjoy and not have gnats and flies and whatever. Rats.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had to deal with rats in this one. So we had to get him a new home permanently.
That's right. Gonna get us some drains too when we get our concrete poured.
Maybe swimming with the fishes.
Right up in here too, where we can wash trucks.
Yeah, we're gonna drain the center of the floor and do all that. So.
I seen there was a lot of guys on social media. That's why I mentioned that to old Pops here about let's put some drains in here because they said if they could do one thing different, that's what they'd do. So I was like, you know what?
Yeah.
We should just get us some drains. It ain't got to be nothing big, but you know.
Yeah, I mean it can go out to the woods. It ain't got to be. We got a natural grade here. I mean it drops off like perfect.
We got our own little epoxy stuff that we do to our concrete, so we won't have no problem sliding a squeegee across the concrete when we get her dialed in.
That's our side gig. What I've been doing for years, side business, is epoxy and concrete. You know, sealing it, cleaning it, neutralizing it. Doing VCT tile and stuff like that. So, got some good, cool ideas we're gonna do. But that's a ways down the road.
Yeah.
And there again, talking about cost, that's another inherited cost when you do a shop. You know, because this is okay, but we want to get it where it can wall it completely in. And we've tried to fit both trucks in here, and they'll fit. But if it rains, because of the gable being so tall, it's going to still wet both vehicles on both ends. And we want to get it where we can seal it off completely. And that wouldn't be a problem to put them in here together at that point because they wouldn't get wet and they'd be out of the weather. But probably what's going to end up happening, we're going to extend this thing another 10 foot out, and it would be perfect. So it'd be a 20 by 40 instead of a 20 by 30. And we could actually put them nose to nose. You know, we wouldn't have to keep, worrying about parking and all that. Because once we get tools in here, I've got toolboxes I got to take out of the other shed, put in here, and I'm not doing that just yet because of the weather. Because when it gets a south wind, it rains in, it blows everything in here. So
we get rain daily because we're so close to Florida, and if you ever thought about coming to Florida, this is what you might as well expect.
Yeah.
So this is normal for us. So,
but anyway, we didn't mean to get off subject. We like telling y'all about our fiascos, and we got to get a little video out on the lawnmower issue.
Yeah,
we got that going.
Can't tell them what it is yet.
No, we'll save that for another video.
That's right.
Because we work on all kinds of stuff around here. It's not just trucks,
big or small.
We probably got a couple of things coming up. We may even have a boat coming, which I've done a boat before, blew the engine up. And long story, a lot of money involved, but maybe doing a boat for a father-in-law, and he's got a couple of Gran Torinos. One was actually he bought brand new, said it was running, I think, when he parked it, but got another one as a GT with a roll cage, 351 in it. I think that one may be locked up, he said, so they're about 3 hours from here. So we've been talking to him a little bit, may end up trying to get one or both back down here where we can work on them. Of course, your old school motors, if they're free and they're turning and not locked up, you got fuel, air, and spark. So
that's all you need.
If you can get that, you can make it run. So it'd be pretty cool to get it running again for him.
Let him enjoy it,
I don't know. I'm sure it's probably trashed on the interior after sitting, but he's had it in a shed. So, but unfortunately, where it's at is in the middle of God's country. Jerusalem Road's the name of the place going into it. And literally, it's like 3.5 hours from here. And there's no cell phone reception once you get in there.
It's nothing but woods, man.
100% Bigfoot country. I heard you seen something the other day out here.
Yeah, dude. So I was out here taking a video of the truck while you were going to town. And, man, I caught a whiff of a smell and felt like I had somebody watching me. And I peep out here around the corner, and there's some big old creature running off in the woods.
You know, they got bears not too far from here.
Yeah.
Sure it wasn't a bear.
It could have been. I don't know, man.
I seen the video though. Kind of looked like, I don't know, it looked a little weird. I don't know what that was. Gotta get some cameras up when we can see down in the woods.
So
we had our cameras. We took them up last hunting season. But see if we can't get him on camera.
Yeah.
But anyway, we appreciate y'all. We're gonna get this thing fired up, let it warm up, and I'm gonna check this fluid, and we'll take it for a spin and see what's going on with it. If that helped any. We may take y'all for a ride along. Y'all stay with us.
It's thundering already.
As every day, you hear it.
Yep.
Thunder. And no, Thor ain't coming. It ain't nothing to do with Thor. So the only Thor we got is when I get out from under here. I'm a little Thor. I have to take some ibuprofen. You know, like Mike Tyson. I broke my back. Spinal. But all right, let's go. Stop playing. All right, so we just put a little bit of Freon in here, and we are so close to that green, it hurts. And I'm gonna tell you what, fellas, after we've battled this AC system, right now it feels like money, honey. So we got the modulator put in, like we showed y'all a while ago, and we took that fluid that we had and we ran it through a paint screen with some really fine micro filtration on it, and we did a clean catch. I mean, it wouldn't hurt nothing to get it out like that, but we caught just a little bit of trash in it that was not metal or anything out of transmission. So, but with the AC, the way we got it tuned right now, we're at what, 900 RPMs? Yeah. Like 7 on the load. Our time is like 17 to 22. I think it bounces back and forth, but that's idling. So you kind of have to give a little to get a little. So the chop kind of goes away a little bit with AC on.
This chop's even harder. RPM's lower.
Well, yeah, you could hear it at the exhaust pipe. We normally got the cutouts on, so yeah, it's kind of hard to tell. But so far, going to reverse and drive is a little smoother than it was, but we can definitely tell that's first gear. That's 1400 RPM. And that deal there that he bought is really helped.
Yeah. Really expensive, but it's really nice to have.
So I didn't adjust the modulator at all. I just went with the factory settings. I think it's probably going to be okay because our shift points were okay. I don't really care about changing that part. Not so much for speed or anything. We're not like I say, we're not drag racing.
Maintaining our temp.
Yeah. So we added a little bit of Freon, and our pressures were a little bit higher than what I like. But reading the forums on this setup, this is kind of one of the things you deal with when you're piecing stuff together. You're taking new stuff, sticking it on old stuff, and you have to kind of figure out what's the magic number or formula to get this stuff to work right. So we got factory evaporator, factory blower, factory AC setting, a head unit over here. So we'll see what it's going to do right here, because this is where it should have downshifted.
Did not.
See if it drops down, if you manually can drop it. What was that? You come down one gear? Don't go no further now. I mean, you're running like 17, you throw us through the windshield. But, all right, you can go up shield. You kind of missed your opportunity to go to first. You didn't go to first, did you? That was second?
Yep.
So, that didn't fix our problem. But it helped the transition, I think, on the 1, 2, 2, 3 shift. But any new parts, in my opinion, is better than what was in it.
So I bumped the blower up 2 more times from the very bottom, and it's holding temp. So
Yeah.
the blower speed is not affecting the cooling right now.
Normally on these old rigs, you can, if you have your blower on high, it normally will cause you to have a higher vent temperature. For everybody out there that don't know, you can drop that thing down. Each one time that you come down should drop that temperature on that vent. Sorry, kind of can't focus. But we're running about 50 degrees maybe. Might be dipping in the 40s right now, but he's on the second to the high setting. And while we were idling a while ago, we had it on low just to see what it would do. Because it's always, when you got it on low, it pulls down even farther. Which kind of makes sense. Less air flowing past the evaporator. Or the slower the air flowing past the evaporator, the colder it's getting to come out of the vents. So we kind of battled a deal. These trucks came with under here, there was a modulator. It was vacuum assisted to go all the way to first. Yeah, you can tell right there. It's definitely not dropping down like it's supposed to. Anyway, the recirculation. You could tell that it wasn't pulling the cold air and trying to cool it. It was pulling the hot air from outside, trying to cool it. So anyway, we wanted to give y'all a ride along. Like I say, it did not fix our problem, and it was like 18 bucks at O'Reilly. So that's the cheapest fix that we could try first. I did, like I say, I put the kick down. I hooked it up under there. It works great. We drove the truck for the longest time without it after we did the LS swap. And like I say, that was the issue we were having then. So I know it ain't anything to do with that. So you kind of have to do the process, elimination. So what was prior already here happening, just rule out whatever we changed. But he's pulled it down in manual, on the column up there. This truck got a 700 R4 when we first got it. And we still got the extra gear up on the shifter. So we're manually pulling it down just to test to see if this thing, when we take off, is actually in first or second. But like I say, you can tell not only by feeling it, but you can also tell up there on the RPMs. But right now, he's cruising. That's third gear, 1900 RPMs, and I didn't bring my phone, but the speedo over there, it's off by 10 miles an hour or so. But just from what we're normally doing on this section of the highway, it's usually about 70. So 70 miles an hour, 50 degrees on the AC, and 1900 RPMs. Are you happy? I'm happy. Yeah, could it be better? Absolutely. But hey, we're good with it. Big tires. Everything works. We're good. So just wanted to give y'all a ride along, just to let you see what we're dealing with and how you can tell, if this thing is not downshifting like it's supposed to. So we may have to do the bow body, see if we can clean that thing out or something. I don't know. It may have a piece of trash in it. Who knows? But when we do the next transmission flush, we'll probably take that pan back off, give everything a really, really good cleaning, kind of inspect it, and may pull that rod out that I was telling y'all about just to check it to make sure that it has nothing to do with that part. It's normally, like I say, just first gear only. So we'll do a better inspection, because we've been just going crazy trying to, and I don't know what it's doing there.
Downshift in the first.
That downshifted in the first?
Yeah, that's second.
See, I don't understand what's going on with that, because we was at a slow roll.
That's like when you go further down the middle, it's like that kick down cable's pulling that, make it shift back down in the first gear.
Well, it was doing it before. I don't know. It wasn't doing that.
That's third.
That's different. So the kick down cable may actually be causing that to do whatever it's doing, which doesn't really feel normal. It's like it's getting hung in between.
Yeah, that's almost what it feels like. Yeah.
So we may loosen that up and see, because this last time we pulled the transmission out, we didn't have that problem.
Yeah.
It was it wasn't doing what it's doing there. But like I say, we didn't have that torque converter either, so there's a new variable involved. So you kind of have to. I may go backwards and just take the shift down or kick down cable loose, make sure it's good and loose where we're not bound up, just to check it and make sure. I don't think that had anything to do with it, but we'll try it. But y'all stay with us. We appreciate y'all. I think we're just gonna run it back down to the house and probably park it. Looks like it's about to go to storming. But we appreciate everything, y'all keeping up with the channel. If you don't mind hitting the like button, and if you haven't subscribed, consider doing so, please.
Just hit 6,000.
Yep, 6,000.
Big goal, big goal.
We got a lot of goals we want to try to do, and I don't know if we can keep growing. Everything is better than where we're at. We're growing each day, or he's growing each day.
Every day.
So we appreciate everybody letting the young man grow and be able to do something that my generation wasn't able to do when we were teenagers. This wasn't a thing. So if he can keep this going, it could just go out of sight. There's no telling. But like I say, we got a bunch of things coming up. A lot of different projects we're talking about doing. We're thinking about building a truck and flipping it, selling it, doing the LS swap, the whole nine. But got a couple people wanting those already. Just got to find a candidate. So the one we looked at was junk.
Yeah.
We did a video, going to go get it, but we took it and scrapped that video because I guess we should have showed them, but it was such garbage when we got there.
It wasn't really worth it.
But anyway, appreciate y'all, and y'all stay with us on the next video. We'll try to get some stuff uploaded more often, but we're going to enjoy this air conditioning. See y'all on the next one.